If you believe in democracy, you want to see more people vote, not fewer people vote, I think the choice is pretty clear, and that choice is Biden.
Senator Bernie Sanders gave Joe Biden his full support during a weekend interview on CNN's State of the Union. Now, Dana Bash had just asked Bernie if he is at all concerned about Biden's age after he had announced his re-election bid. And while Bernie agreed that, yeah, I mean, you should weigh Biden's age with all the other factors, he decided, well, if he's up against someone like Trump, it's a no-brainer who you should vote for. So why don't we watch that part of the interview with more context, and then we can discuss.
To my mind, Dana, when you put it all together, what you have to look at is, what does the candidate stand for? Which side are they on? Are they on the side of the billionaire class, or are they on the side of working people? Look, it is no great secret I ran against Biden. No great secret that he and I have strong differences of opinion. But when we live in a nation where you have a major political party, the Republican Party, where many, not all, but many of their leadership doesn't even believe in democracy. They maintain the myth that Trump won the last election. They're trying to keep people from voting. They're trying to deny women the right to control their own bodies. So that's a whole issue out there. If you believe in democracy, you want to see more people vote, not fewer people vote, I think the choice is pretty clear, and that choice is Biden.
So look, if Bernie simply said, if the election comes down to Biden and Trump again, we got to go with Biden. Trump is dangerous, he's a threat to democracy, this is a repeat of 2020, then fine, it is what it is. However, he started that by mentioning you got to look at the candidates and figure out who's with the billionaire class and who's with ordinary working Americans. Biden ain't with the ordinary working Americans. He urged Congress to intervene to prevent rail workers from striking when all they were asking for was some paid time off to deal with emergencies and health issues, okay? Biden didn't raise taxes on the rich, didn't even come close to doing that, and instead turned around and raised taxes on self-employed people who make money off of selling their arts and crafts on Etsy, okay? He didn't increase the federal minimum wage. He didn't provide assistance for childcare. His infrastructure bill provides massive government grants to corporations. The same infrastructure bill, the so-called bipartisan infrastructure bill, also allows for the privatization of public lands. I mean, are we really having a conversation about which candidate would be better for ordinary working Americans? Like, just don't do the false advertising on behalf of Biden. It doesn't make any sense to me.
100%. I think Bernie's doing two things wrong there. Number one, what Anna's talking about here, he says if Biden does these working class things, he went on to say more about it, then he'll win in a landslide, okay? But that's a giant if. Biden isn't going to do those working things. In fact, there's a 0% chance he's going to do any of those things between now and the election. I mean, in Bernie, in his own mind, because he likes Biden and lives in Washington, thinks that Biden will do some of it in his second term. I don't believe that for a second, but it doesn't matter. He's referring to the second term. For now, the Republicans have the House. Biden loves Republicans. He's not even introducing anything. Look, guys, I was just in Washington. I talked to tons of staffers, and I'm here to tell you, the Democrats have absolutely zero plans in these next 2 years. They don't plan to introduce almost anything, and they have absolutely no plan to pass anything. So what Bernie's in effect saying is, why doesn't Biden give lip service to the working class? But they've already done that 2,000 times. And it's all a lot of malarkey, as Biden would say. So Biden has no credibility, none. He had his own Delaware senators go out and torpedo $15 minimum wage. He doesn't want to increase your wages. That's a stone cold fact, okay? So Bernie, I love you, but sorry, you're totally wrong. And by the way, on our side, we're not a cult. The right wing, they're like, oh, Trump, whatever he says, yeah, break the law. Breaking the law is awesome. Whatever oh yeah, cheat on your taxes, cheat on your wife, cheat on everything. Yeah, we love it. No, we're not like that. Progressives think on their own. So we don't have to follow Bernie mindlessly. Second part is he's saying basically progressives shouldn't run against Biden. To my answer to that is hell no, no way. We do not agree. We do not agree. You don't want to run, that's your business, God bless. I get it, and by the way, I don't want Bernie to run because Bernie doesn't fight. So Bernie would just hand it back to Biden. He'd just run a campaign where he'd tell you how great Biden is, and then Biden would win. So I have no interest in that. I'm sorry, but I'm being honest with you guys because that's my job, okay? So no deal to both of those things that Bernie said.
I just don't know who would have, like which progressive, and not only which progressive, but which progressive would have a decent shot at beating Biden in the Democratic primaries.
There's no, look, this is super, I will be very, very clear. There's no one in elected office, progressive or otherwise, or whatever they call themselves, that would come within 2,000 miles of being able to beat Biden. Because number one, they're not even gonna try. Number two, they're all absolutely convinced within the Washington bubble that it's a crime to run against Biden. No, he's polling at 38%. It's a near guaranteed loss. And yet everyone in Washington has bowed their heads. So you can call it anything you like, but it doesn't really matter what we think of those folks. They're not gonna run, and if they ran, they'd run super weak and would have no chance. No, it has to be an outsider. It has to be a wild card. And at that point, I know, I'm not unaware. No one knows how much the media sucks and is complete corporate propaganda and would try to obliterate anyone from the outside. And mark my words, they're already doing it to Marianne Williamson. But if you have a even more credible, and by the way, Marianne is perfectly credible, but I'm just saying if you had a second option that was also an outsider, they would absolutely torpedo that person and they would pretend that they cannot be credible. So I know, is it hard? Of course it's hard, but you have to do it anyway because Biden's gonna lose and they all know it.
So look, I don't think they know it, right? I think they're under the assumption that things are playing out really well because it appears, at least at this moment, things can change, but at this moment it appears that the general election will come down to two people, Biden and Trump. And in the minds of the Democratic establishment, Trump is such a dumpster fire that this couldn't be a better scenario for the Democratic Party. But I think that they are overestimating the advantage they have, and I think they're playing with fire, and it's gonna hurt the American people. So what do I mean by that? I know what I'm about to show you is anecdotal, but I do think that this video captures the mood among Democratic voters as it pertains to Biden running again for re-election. Let's watch.
You voted for Biden.
I did.
He announced this week. What was your reaction?
Regret, disappointment, frustration.
While it's very early in the race, that disappointment and frustration was expressed again and again by young voters we talked to.
I think I would go for Biden, but obviously I would prefer a fresher candidate.
He announced this week. Were you excited by that?
Not particularly. I'm more interested in a progressive candidate.
Despite having voted for Biden last time, 21-year-old Elena Symes couldn't point me to anything that would make her want to vote for him again, except, what do you like about Joe Biden?
That he's not Trump.
So look, that's what Biden ran on in 2020. Vote for me because I'm not Trump. Trump's scary, me not scary, vote for me. And so think about how Trump's lack of leadership, whatever you want to call it, Trump's dysfunction was fresh on the minds of Americans all across the country. I don't know if that's gonna be the case in 2024.
No, it won't be. It won't be at all. Guys, incumbents play defense generally. And so before, when they were running, Trump was the incumbent and he had tons and tons of baggage, and that baggage was really recent, so fresh in people's minds, including disastrous handling of COVID, right? So he had to play tons of defense, and he barely lost by 43,000 votes in the 3 swing states. Now Biden has to play defense. The old rule was if an incumbent's under 50%, they're almost certainly gonna lose. Biden is under 40%. So when I say they all know it in DC that he's gonna lose, I wanna be clear because Anna's right. This is what I mean. Number one, they think if it's not Trump, even the most like brainwashed Democratic establishment figures in DC know that Biden's gonna lose if it's not Trump. Even they know it. okay? Number two, they think, well, even if he does lose, better that he loses than a progressive wins. I'm not joking at all.
No, I totally believe it.
Yeah, if you said to them a progressive or a Republican, their actions indicate it. They're like, your progressive better not run, even though we know Biden would definitely lose to anyone who isn't Trump. Now, on the Trump issue, that's where they're totally deranged, and Anna's totally right. They're like, oh no, Trump can't win. He already won once. He won in 2016. How stupid are you people? Like, now Biden's got this. Biden's one of the greatest presidents in American history. They say stuff like that with a straight face. Do you know all the things that he passed? Yeah, I know, like 89% of it was for corporate America. Hey, semiconductor industry, how many votes do you have? 13 or 14? But hey, the only thing that people really loved was the COVID Relief Act, which was all temporary. The corporate money flowing to corporations in terms of billions of dollars is permanent. Always their help is always permanent, but when it comes to the American people, temporary, cut it off. Is Biden gonna do anything progressive going forward to regain those votes like he had after the COVID relief bill? Nope. He just authorized drilling in Alaska, and he's negotiating with the Republicans now in a total fake negotiations in order to cut aid to the needy and to cut aid to the average American. He's not gonna do anything for the working class. Look, he's frozen in time. He thinks, oh man, when you work with Republicans, yeah, when in the 1990s? Yeah, maybe back then, brother, but this ain't the 1990s. You're just handing them gift after gift and making your chance of winning nearly impossible. So I don't care if Bernie says it. I don't care if God himself says it. I'm not gonna not help a primary against Biden because Washington thinks it would hurt. He's definitely gonna win. It would hurt Democrats. You're not allowed to do that. I don't give a goddamn what you think. This guy's definitely gonna lose, and we have to primary him right now.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.